Hi, welcome to the channel. Today so we're going to do a quick review of the Summit Ember EB1 down quilt. According to Summit, it weighs just 420 grams and you can see it packs down extremely small in this little compression sack. I weighed it in the compression sack at 506 grams, which is slightly heavier than they said. It's got a comfort rating of 10 degrees for women and 4 degrees for men, so it makes it suitable for kind of 2-season camping, 3-season camping at a push when the weather is milder. Now it has 850 fill power goose down in it, and what that means is that it's just one of those amazing things that when you actually unpack it from the compression sack, you just can't believe the size and the loftiness of the quilt that comes out of it. So it does feature a 10 denier shell and a 7 denier liner fabric. So it is not, I wouldn't say delicate, but it is very kind of see-through material, very, very thin, because obviously it is designed to be absolutely ultra light. Obviously when you first unpack, it needs to a little bit of time and maybe a little bit of shaking just to get it fully lofted. And if you're going to store it, then they give you a separate storage sack, which is much, much bigger, so that it can maintain its loft and you only really fully compress it when you're about to take it out wild camping. Now I don't actually own this quilt. I've been lent it to do a review and use of it. So I've actually been out on it 3 times so far and I absolutely love it. The reason I don't own one myself is, well, firstly, this particular model has been discontinued. It's been replaced by an updated version. And that updated version is £300. So it is an amazing bit of kit. I absolutely love it. It's the first quilt I've ever used and I'm now completely sold on the idea of quilts. I think they're absolutely brilliant. Can't believe I've never tried one before. But for me, £300, it's an amazing bit of kit. It's tiny, it's light, it's warm, but I don't know, man, £300 is a lot of money. So using the quilt is really simple. You just hook it underneath your mat, and the mat needs to have a decent R rating to keep you nice and warm. And with this Summit quilt, there's a couple of options in terms of how you're going to build the bottom. So you can have it cinched up really quite tightly or really quite loosely, depending on how much warmth you want to maintain. So if you wanted to maintain maximum warmth, then you can nicely cinch it up around the bottom to give you a little foot box. In terms of the straps, they can be loose or they can be tight. It depends how much movement you want to allow. The looser they are, obviously the higher the quilt can go, the more movement you can have, but the more you risk getting some air coming in from underneath the mat. And then obviously the top, you've got further straps there if you want to strap the top down, or you can leave it more like a kind of duvet you'd have in bed. So I found this very warm on the 3 camps I've used it on so far. It is a really, really nice bit of kit. The other benefit of this kind of quilt is if the weather is really, really warm, you can just use it as a duvet. So don't do up any of the straps, just simply rest it over yourself when you're on your sleep mat. But a key thing to bear in mind is actually the temperature rating of the quilt itself, whether you sleep hot, whether you sleep cold, and how that's going to be for you. But also understanding that you need to have a sleep mat that's rated down to similar temperatures, because a sleep mat is now part of your sleep system properly, because you need that sleep mat to be providing like 99% of the insulation from the ground. In terms of other features, this quilt does have little poppers all over it, so it's designed to connect to any other Summit quilt. So if you wanted to kind of turn it into a double bed, double quilt kind of scenario, you can do that. And actually the Ember EB1 is actually available as a double quilt in itself. So if you wanted to get a nice lightweight double quilt for you and your partner, this would be a really good option. Now if you've never used quilts and you really want to try one, I would really recommend you do. If like me you can borrow one, that's absolutely brilliant, because I borrowed this one and as soon as I sort of got it set up, got inside the quilt, it is brilliant. I normally I like to move around when I'm sleeping, like to constantly roll over different sides and stuff to get comfy, and sometimes with certain sleeping bags that's really difficult to do, or as you try to twist around, the sleeping bag wants to twist around with you, it's a real pain in the neck. This quilt just completely got rid of all of those issues for me, and I didn't find myself cold at all using it. I was the perfect temperature, as long as you're wearing the right kind of clothes for the conditions and you're not using it outside of the temperature rating that it's there for. But as I said at the beginning, this is not a cheap piece of gear, hence why I've only borrowed it. I don't actually own it. £300 for the replacement is the RRP, so you might be able to get it for maybe £280, and obviously there are loads of manufacturers making quilts like this. So you might find cheaper ones, maybe on AliExpress and stuff. You'll find some nice down quilts. I would really, really recommend you try them. They are easy to set up. They're really flexible to sleep in. So I think I will still maintain using sleeping bags in the middle of winter because I've already got some really highly rated winter sleeping bags. But I'm going to definitely try and get some kind of quilts for kind of 2 to 3 season use. So based on that, £300 being way too much for me, but I do love Sea to Summit stuff. I've got a couple of their sleeping bags that are absolutely brilliant. I did actually find an alternative, which is this, the Sea to Summit Glow GW1. So they're kind of 1 rated sleeping bag, the same as this or the quilt. It is synthetic, it's bulkier, it's heavier, but it's currently, as of July 2024, on sale direct from Sea to Summit in the UK on the website for £62. It's half price, £125 down to £62. So if you wanted to get into quilts or try one for the first time, this one here would be a really good way of getting a really good quality quilt for your first try. As for myself, I'll definitely be using my Sea to Summit Glow 1 in future videos because I really do like the idea of quilts for sort of 2 to 3 season use. But I will also be keeping my eye on used sale websites to try and pick up some kind of down quilt because I do really like them. I just don't want to pay full price for them. But if money's an object, then it is an absolutely fantastic bit of gear. It's so light, it's so compact, it's so warm given its weight. It's absolutely amazing. So hopefully this video has been vaguely interesting for you. If you do like this kind of stuff, then obviously just subscribe to the channel. Really helps me out because it just makes me feel better about myself to have new subscribers. Anyway, if you're stuck with the video this far, a huge thanks for watching as always, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one.